What I principally love about Jimmy Stewart is that throughout his career, he makes goodness and niceness incredibly watchable qualities.
You know, Christmas is coming soon, and we're certainly going to miss a good little worker like you in the shop. So you'd better get well.
But there's not a lot of people, not a lot of actors I can think of, who consistently were able, and also not to be kind of cheesy with it. You know, he's uttered some of the potentially most laughable lines in cinema, but you just kind of melt when he does them.
What'd you say?
What does he wish?
Local biography or history.
If he will consult with my colleague in there.
Mm-hmm. I'll have a washroom. Thank thee.
People tell me that Jimmy Stewart embodies a lot of qualities that are apparently all American. You know, he's a kind of an everyman in a very American sense, and at a very specific time in American cinema history, I think.
The man's got to know where he's going.
Well, what do you want to do?
Well, just give me a chance to make it. I just want to make sure that I'm not going to let you down.
All right, Monty, if that's what you want.
Oh, you're what I want.
His particular set of qualities I personally find more interesting to watch than most of the actors of that period. There's some other, I mean, Cary Grant's fantastic, Katharine Hepburn's fantastic, but there's just something, and it's also because it's very, very American.
I'm taking him back, and I'm going to do it alone.
My favourite Jimmy Stewart movie, it was a toss-up really. It's either The Philadelphia Story or It's a Wonderful Life. Philadelphia Story for very, very different reasons, but which is to do with sort of just being the sort of meat in this very classy sandwich. We've got kind of, you know, Katharine Hepburn as one piece of bread and Cary Grant as the other, and he's doing something completely different, but with just such aplomb. And it's just incredibly enjoyable to watch. All three of them together, really. I mean, that's what makes that movie.
Way up high.
What is this, Connor? No, easy, old man. She's not hurt?
No.
Not wounded, sir, but dead.
Seems the minute she hit the water, the wine hit her.
He goes around to Cary Grant's and he's singing the C.K. Dexter Haven song.
C.K. Dexter Haven!
The scene between the two of them, which is some of the best drunk acting ever.
I don't know. I can't understand how you can have been married to her and still know so little about her.
Can't you?
No, I can't you. I have the hiccups. I wonder if I might have another drink.
Certainly.
Thank you.
There's a fantastic passage in that where just the tempo of the scene just rises and the lines get much, much shorter. And
You're insulting. Oh, don't apologize.
Well, who's apologizing?
I never knew such a man.
You wouldn't be likely to, dear, not from where you sit.
Talk about arrogance.
Tracy.
What do you want?
You're wonderful.
he's got these fantastic one-liners that are about making fun of the upper classes, but by having to say those lines, he's exposing his own character.
What, couldn't you afford to buy my book?
The bookstore didn't have one.
Well, are you sure you're doing the right thing? You know what happens to girls like you when they read books like mine. They begin to think. That's bad.
It's a fantastic line to me about...
The queen will have bread and honey at the usual time.
And he phones up and the mother's on the other end of the line.
Yes?
This is the bridal suite. Would you send up a couple of caviar sandwiches and a bottle of beer?
What? Who is this?
This is the voice of doom calling. Your days are numbered to the seventh son of the seventh son.
Jimmy Stewart did a number, 3 or 4 biographical movies that, that were based on true life stories. And to an audience now, the idea of a movie about a one-legged baseball player might seem a bit laughable. What he manages to do with it is infuse that story with a sincerity that actually allows you to watch it even now and just enjoy it. There is this fantastic sequence where he takes his wife out for dinner, and the way he shows that he can dance, it's not that flashy, but the music changes, and there are these fantastic little moves he just kind of puts in with his head and stuff, which are very, very funny. There is actually a moment in the movie, which is actually my favourite moment in the whole film, where his pitching career is starting to take off a bit, and he's on the mound pitching away, and the news arrives by telegram that his first and only child has been born, and the pitching coach shouts,
It's a boy! What?
and he can't concentrate remotely on the matter in hand from this moment on. And the next pitch he throws sort of goes into sort of row Q of the stand, and so he's immediately taken off. And there's this quite a high, wide shot of him just walking off the mound. And, you know, from this sort of coiled, rather disciplined athlete, the way he walks, I mean, it's the goofiest walk you've ever seen in your life. He's completely reveling in it. His kind of hips are all sort of thrust out, and his eyes kind of going like this. And, you know, everyone sort of, it's fantastic, you know, and he does it at the end. The camera's on a crane, and he's walking back to the crowd, and there's this kind of echo of that same shot, now that he's physically impaired. And the walk is kind of rather similar, and I'm sure he thought about that. I think Shop Around the Corner is a remarkably effective little comedy.
Mind if I tell you something?
No.
Well, when I first came to work here, something very strange happened to me. I got psychologically mixed up.
You don't say.
Yes. I found myself looking at you again and again. I just couldn't take my eyes off you.
Oh?
Mm-hmm. And all the time I kept saying to myself, Clara Novak, what on earth is the matter with you? This Kralik is not a particularly attractive type of man. I hope you don't mind.
No.
There's this long sequence in this coffee house, and she starts to talk about his legs and that he's got bandy legs, which, of course, you know, he's famous for having bandy legs.
And I'd like to take this opportunity, Miss Novak, to inform you that I don't walk like a duck and I'm not bow-legged.
Aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Well, I have information to the contrary. Mr. Vodish assured me that you have your trousers specially made.
Well, that's a lie. Mr. Vodish, so that's the kind of a man you trust. I've never been to a tailor in my life. If you think I'm bow-legged, come on out on the sidewalk and I'll pull up my trousers.
He also plays some characters that are dark and very flawed, and those are great performances too.
I'm taking him back! This is what I came after, and now I've got it! No partners like I started!
It's funny enough, it's not really till he gets a little bit older, and indeed in The Naked Spur, to play much more flawed and therefore really kind of more emotionally complex characters and damaged characters kind of came to the fore. And, you know, the character in The Naked Spur is of that ilk.
Where are they? Where are they? Where are they taken? Where are they taken? Let go of them! Get your hands off! Get your hands off me! I've got to find you! I got to find you!
I mean, that's the thing about Jimmy Stewart. He's so easy. You know, it looks effortless. He gives it everything he's got, but it's just smooth.